11:19, we are following breaking news out of Nashville, Tennessee, where police say several people are dead after a small plane has crashed near a major Nashville interstate. It happened just before 9 Louisville time, according to the Nashville International Airport. Now, the police department sharing this photo you're seeing here on your screen, saying the small single-engine plane crashed off of I-40 in West Nashville. Let's take you to a live look at that very scene from the Tennessee traffic cameras. You can see several fire trucks, ambulances, and police cars right there at the site still. Police say they're still working to find out where the plane was coming from. Again, they are reporting several fatalities, several dead in that small plane. We're going to be monitoring the story throughout this newscast. We'll bring you any updates and, of course, on the air and WHAS11.com. And hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Doug Prophet. Our other top story on the WHAS 11 night team yelling and screaming tonight as the Nelson County School Board tonight votes to remove the popular superintendent. The special meeting was called by the Board of Education there to talk about the future of Wes Bradley. Over 100 people showed up in support of the educator. WHAS 11 night team's Alex Dieterer and photojournalist Addie Hill report from Nelson County.
An angry room full of parents, educators, students ushered out by law enforcement. A crowd against the Nelson County Board of Education's decision to remove Superintendent Wes Bradley from his position during a special meeting. Tracy Bowling, the only no vote. The board went into executive session for over an hour, but the room stayed full and vocal.
Wesley Adam Bradley, the current superintendent of the Nelson County School District, be removed for cause by roll call vote, and that his current contract with the Board of Education be terminated.
Board member Amanda Deaton listed 6 reasons for Bradley's removal, including failure of leadership and engaging in conduct that's resulted in a majority of the board losing trust in him.
Of engaging in conduct that has created and promoted division and dissension within the district. Working relationships have been severely and irreparably damaged.
Bradley remained quiet. He became controversial with the board during discussions of their plan to merge the 2 high schools. It made him popular with parents and students. After the vote, he shared his hopes for Nelson County moving forward.
Firstly, I just want to share gratitude with all the educators across Nelson County schools. Really proud of the work that continues in our schools, and we also, over the next month, it's important that this doesn't become a distraction from student learning. I think that the key piece in all this is none of this should take away from our students. At the end of the day, we're working in the best interest of students, and we'll continue to do that no matter what the process entails.
Jessica Hogue with NC Forward said she and the rest of the group will continue to seek transparency from the board and keep the focus on the students.
We do not agree with the 4 board members that have made this decision. We also do not feel that this will stand.
The board members left quickly and did not give any comments. In Nelson County, Alex Dieterer, the WHAS 11 night team on your side.
So what's next there in Bardstown? Well, the request for Bradley's removal will be sent to the Commissioner of the Kentucky Department of Education for approval. If that removal is approved, the board will then appoint an interim superintendent for Nelson County. Bradley is the only employee hired by the district's school board. In a new update tonight, police say a man has died 2 days after he was shot in Louisville's Bon Air neighborhood. This shooting was one of 5 across our city that Louisville Metro Police investigated just over the weekend. 5 people were killed and 3 others were hurt in different shootings. Now, one of those deadly shootings was inside a Bardstown Road bar and restaurant, and it has city leaders proposing some policy changes. The owner of Cafe 360 in the Highlands tells WHAS 11 News he's troubled by a fight that he says escalated inside, leading to the fatal shooting. Today, authorities sent a request to the state to temporarily strip the bar of its alcohol license while the investigation plays out. Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg has endorsed a policy that would give Metro ABC the authority to suspend a license if there's a threat to public safety. The amendment would also guarantee a suspension hearing within 3 days. Metro Council member Rick Blackwell is sponsoring the proposal.
We need to make sure that we have every available resource in our professionals' hands to be able to deal with those threats.
The proposal will be talked about at a Metro Council committee meeting coming up on Wednesday. Meantime, Cafe 360's owner says they're going to be adding security to the staff, and they plan to reopen tomorrow. Kentucky transportation crews were back out on the 2nd Street Bridge today, the Clark Memorial, looking at the damage from Friday's crash that left a semi dangling right over the Ohio River. From the Sky 11 drone today, you can see those crews were out on the bridge earlier today. They are the people you see in the green vests. That's where the semi crashed right through the railing. You can also see where traffic is now back on the bridge. And new at 11, WHAS 11 Night Team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie have been talking to drivers who've been using the bridge since it reopened. They are now live right now overlooking the 2nd Street Bridge. Taylor?
Well, Doug, take a look. As you can see just momentarily, traffic was back and steady again on the 2nd Street Bridge. 3 lanes are open, 2 northbound and 1 southbound. And most drivers I talked to tell me they didn't let fear stop them from crossing the bridge. Traffic is back and flowing again on the 2nd Street Bridge after reopening Saturday evening, just a day after a Cisco semi-truck driver was left dangling in the air after being involved in a 4-vehicle crash. Drivers like Brandon Bailey have been driving back and forth for the last 2 days.
I drove yesterday morning. I was on my way to work, and I seen it, and it really wasn't as bad as I expected it to be, really.
Bailey is a truck driver, and all he could think about is the tough situation the Cisco driver was in. He used to drive his semi across the narrow 2nd Street Bridge, but he stopped a long time ago.
Bridge like that, I don't really feel like the truck should be on there because it gets tight. When you look outside your mirrors, I mean, they look like they're going to smack every pole.
Monday afternoon, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet bridge designers and a contractor met on the bridge to address the sidewalk and railing damage. A state transportation cabinet engineer discussed that damage on Saturday.
While there is damage that needs to be repaired, the assessment confirms that the bridge is safe for vehicular travel.
Other drivers, like William Trabue Sr., didn't hesitate about driving across the bridge. He was just happy he didn't have to pay to cross using the toll bridge.
I just didn't think about it after the guy told me that it was just a sidewalk that was messed up.
But some are still fearful after Friday's crash. Kelly Titus says seeing the sidewalk crumbling was enough for her.
I don't know. I've seen all those movies where the bridge falls apart, and I'm just afraid to drive on it now.
Titus lives in Louisville but works in Jeffersonville. She says her friends have already been driving across the bridge.
They were worried, and obviously they saw the concrete crumbling.
And again, engineers say that the bridge is safe to drive across. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is monitoring traffic control. They say fabricating and securing steel on the bridge will determine when construction can begin for repairs. Reporting live in Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 Night Team, on your side.
Taylor, thanks for that live update. Now, in case you missed it, during a news conference on Saturday, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg did reveal more information about how that crash happened. He says witnesses told police that a vehicle traveling southbound hit a stalled vehicle on the bridge, then lost control and crossed into the northbound lane. That's where that vehicle then hit the semi-truck, which was traveling north to Indiana, pushing the truck right through the guardrails nearly into the river. Well, the Louisville firefighter who rescued the driver from that semi has now been receiving recognition from all across the country. In an interview with ABC's Good Morning America, right here on WHAS 11 this morning, firefighter Bryce Carden said he relied on his training during the rescue. During the rescue, the 29-year-old rappelled down to the cab, freed the driver, and got her into a harness to be pulled back to safety. He actually had to cut her seatbelt off of her. He said despite all the attention, he doesn't feel like a hero.
I just played, I've said it 100 times, I've played a very small piece in a large puzzle, and I contribute all the success of it to the guys topside and the guys on the bottom who helped make it happen.
Carden added that he has not talked to the semi-driver since the rescue. New right now on the WHAS 11 Night Team, the NTSB has revised its report about what caused that 2018 plane crash that killed the Louisville City co-founder. Wayne Estenople, his company vice president Sandra Johnson, and 32-year-old pilot Andrew Davis all died in the crash just seconds after taking off from Clark Regional Airport. The NTSB initially said a failed winglet on the Cessna jet caused it to crash. Winglets help control the plane's aerodynamics. In a revised report now, the agency now lists the probable cause as the pilot's inability to regain control after the plane began to roll for unknown reasons. New at 11, a bill to change the way Kentucky would fill a U.S. Senate vacancy easily cleared the State House this afternoon.
88 members voting aye, 4 members voting nay. House Bill 622 is amended by House Floor Amendment 1 is passed.
Right now, there is no U.S. Senate vacancy in Kentucky, but if there happened to be one, this bill calls for a special election to fill the seat. Under current law, the governor would choose a replacement from a list provided by the vacating senator's party. The bill's sponsor, Representative Stephen Rudy, says this proposal brings these vacancies in line with the procedures for other elected seats.
This bill simply mandates if there is a vacancy in the United States Senate, it will be treated like all other legislative races in Kentucky for members of the General Assembly, members of the United States Congress. It will also apply to the United States Senate that there shall be a special election.
Governor Andy Beshear has spoken against the bill, saying lawmakers are trying to remove the authority given to every other governor in the past. The bill will now head to the Senate for consideration.
Inspired I am, and how delighted I am to be a part of this marvelous demonstration for freedom and justice.
This was 60 years tomorrow. 60 years ago tomorrow, that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. joined 10,000 people for the March on Frankfurt. This WHAS TV news coverage from the WHAS11 Film Archive shows King and the large crowd who showed up at the state's capitol to march for justice. Tomorrow, state leaders will join people who attended the original march for a reenactment walking up Capitol Avenue. Everyone is invited to attend tomorrow. The march will begin at 10:45 a.m. before a program right on the Capitol steps at noon.